All right, here we go. Couple of service calls in the same residence last week. We had an outside faucet. Now, I put this out on a reel on Facebook, so now I get to talk back to the comment section. What I'm in right now is a cold space in my area. It's the garage. Garage? The garage. So it's always cold in there. So putting in the frost-free hose bib doesn't really matter at this point. Later on in this video, you'll see that I actually change out the valve inside the house and put a low point drain on there. So I'm just replacing this hose bib with exactly the same thing that came out. These jaws are actually worth their weight in gold. So far, they've gotten me out of a few jams in the last month, without a doubt. So, and you know me, even though the torch is out, I'm only using it for one joint. And it's the one hanging out of my mouth, kid. The one thing that I probably should have done is put a vacuum breaker on this hose bib so nothing gets sucked back into the water supply that you use, like fertilizers. Say if somebody hooks up one of those new fancy fertilizer sprayers right directly to your hose, say it gets back siphoned into your house, if you put a vacuum breaker on the outside faucet, it wouldn't make its way back into your water supply. But where this is friends and family and it was a Saturday morning and this is all Lowe's had, this is what I made happen. It did fine for the last 30 years. Here's the gate valve I got from Lowe's as well, and it's got a little low point drain on there. So from now on, in the wintertime, this is in a heated zone. You close the red valve and take the little gold twisty cap off the valve, and then go outside and open up the outside faucet, and that little twisty cap right there on that valve I'm installing as we speak will release the vacuum inside the line and drain the cold water out of that line throughout the garage. And that, my friends, is a frost-free hose bib without a vacuum breaker. Up next is a loose crapper, just like what your sister's got. My God, that was, dude, enough. Relax. It's a little much. Let's get this thing pulled off the floor and see what the problem is. Well, there it is. It's got no screws in it. It's just the flange floating above the tile. That makes it a little easier on my end. So in the van, we're going to pop out, dude, throw away, I don't know what you call those, plastic chisels. Who knows? Scrapers, they're bank. Every time I go to Home Depot, buy 10 of them suckers. Doesn't get any better than that. But fender washers and deck screws. I know. People are like, you should use stainless screws. You should use brass screws. But listen, those are deck screws. I mean, if they're going outside on your deck, they're going to do just fine buried in a piece of wax. You know what I'm saying? And if not, then, hey, job security. 10 years, my apprentice can go back and swap these puppies out. Now, the wax ring sits in the back of my truck. It's 13 degrees out that day, so fill that up with some hot water while you're working on it, and that thing's mushier than most of your brains. The Johnny bolts on that I use here, they're called quick sets, I believe, and you don't need a locking nut because it has that tight little piece of yellow plastic that you just slide in between the flange and the bottom nut. So we hear, I don't know, maybe some people cock their toilets to the floor. I personally don't cock the toilets to the floor because I came from commercial and we never cocked anything because that was the cocker's job. And we got tacos going, baby. And they're real tacos. They're not white people tacos. She's hooking it up right now. Look at that. What do you got? Chicken, peppers, the works, a little sour cream, some salsa, and, a smile that is worth millions.